Kindly let me know whether my voice is audible. And can you see my presentation?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, great. So in the last lecture, we have started discussion on types of forecasting. In that, we have discussed there are two types of forecasting. That is nothing but short-term forecasting and long-term forecasting. So short-term forecasting will be considered forecast less than 1 year. That forecasting will be considered under the short-term forecasting, whereas the forecast for more than 5 years will be considered as a long-term forecasting. Okay, so that we have discussed in the last lecture. Also, we have discussed the need of a forecasting and the difference between prediction and forecasting in detail. So in today's lecture, we will discuss the classification of a forecasting. The forecasting is classified in three categories. First one is a judgmental techniques, second one is a time series method, and third one is a causal method. So what is meant by judgmental technique? So as the name suggests, it will depends on a personal judgment. Okay, personal judgment. Now here who can utilize this judgmental techniques? So judgmental techniques will be utilized by the expert person who is having expertise in that sector. Okay, so that person can use the judgmental techniques, or we can say that these techniques does not require any calculations. The techniques are subjective type of a techniques, or we can say that the qualitative type of a techniques. So the techniques under the judgmental techniques, we can say that these are the subjective or qualitative techniques, and the calculation part, or we can say that we are not using any historical data to forecast in that particular sector, or in that for that particular product. Okay, so such a techniques will be considered as a judgmental techniques. So whereas in second type of a classification of a forecasting is time series method. Now time series, as we have discussed earlier, that the forecasting based on historical data. Okay, so in time series method, this historical data is considered, and the patterns or the trends are determined. Okay, and accordingly the future prediction or future demand forecasting is formed. Whereas the third type of a technique is nothing but causal methods. Okay, causal method. In this type of a causal method, there are a variety of or number of variables are there. Okay, or we can say that the situation or the event will be impacted by lot of variables, and what will be the effect of each variable on the event. Okay, that will be determined in a causal method. Okay, so judgmental technique is a subjective technique, whereas the judgments are taken from or the opinions from taken from the person or expertise persons or the mob. Okay, whereas the time series method is depends on historical patterns. Okay, or the trends, and on that basis the forecast is made for the future. And whereas in a causal method, the analyst, or we can say that the person who is doing the forecasting, who determine the effect of various parameters or variables on the particular event. Okay, so that is nothing but a causal method. Okay, now we are going to discuss the judgmental technique. First technique, or the first classification of a forecasting is nothing but a judgmental technique. As we have discussed that judgmental technique is depends upon the past experience of the personal. Okay, here the personal, or we can say that the person opinion is matter a lot. Okay, for this particular judgmental techniques. Okay, so what are the different types of judgmental techniques? First one is the opinion survey method, second one is the executive opinion method, third one is the customer and distributor survey, marketing trials, market research, and sixth one is a Delphi techniques. So these are the different types of this judgmental techniques. Okay, so one can say that in any of these particular 6 techniques, whether you find any calculation part, no, these are the subjective techniques or qualitative techniques. So we will discuss one by one this judgmental type of a techniques. So first one is the opinion survey. So opinion survey means what? If you are going to launch the new product, whether this product will be accepted by the customer or not. So the opinions are collected from the market related to the product. Okay, so that is nothing but an opinion survey method. And most of the time, this type of a technique is used for new types of products or new products which are going to launch in the market, and there is no any past data related to that product is available with the analyst. So in that case, the opinion survey method is most useful. Okay, so opinion method is relatively simple and practical method for forecasting demand for the new product. In this method, opinions are collected from the prospective buyers regarding why they buy a particular product, what they expect from the product. The sampling technique is used to survey the customer. From the representative sample, it is possible to forecast how the target population will respond to the product. Okay. Now the simple thing I want to or a simple example I want to give you related to that if your company want to launch the new type of credit card, so who will be the prospective buyers for the credit card? First of all, that person should have PAN card. Okay, first thing, for the banking purpose, PAN card is most useful. So the customer should have the PAN card. Second thing, it should earn at least 20 to 25,000 rupees monthly. So such a category, okay, such a category customers will be comes under the prospective buyers related to the credit card. Similar type of methods or the buyers, by applying suitable limits or suitable assumptions, we can find out the prospective buyers. Okay, so now here we can say that the sampling techniques is used. Okay, sampling means what? We are not considering all the mob. Okay, we are considering some of the persons or we can say that the prospective buyers from the market, and we are conducting the survey from, or we are providing the survey to such a person. Okay, so a lot of time while surfing on YouTube also, you are getting the survey that whether you are having the car, whether you are listening this music, whether you like this music. Okay, these types of surveys will be provided to the respective companies to whom it is required. Okay, so the surveys are available on different platforms. So let us say if you are using the Hotstar, on Hotstar also there are some surveys, and these surveys will be captured from the market, and the suitable analysis or suitable filters will be applied to that data, and it will be then the company will get the proper view of that particular data. Okay, so sampling is also important. Not all the data will be selected for the survey purpose. Initially they will ask you whether your earning is this much, whether you are having maybe you are having car, you are having this, you are having that, so land or anything else. So depends on a company, the data will be collected, and that will be applied from the market to the company side, and on that basis the companies will decide which data is important for us and which data is not important for us. And the opinions related to particular product will be used for finding out the needs of a customer, finding out the trade in the market, finding out the demand of a product in the market. So that is nothing but opinion survey method. Okay, simply opinion survey method. Then next type of judgmental technique is nothing but executive opinion method. So in this type of executive opinion method, experts comment on the growth of that product or the demand of that product in the market. Okay, so expert person, like let us say the CEO of company will be considered as an expert person. Ratan Tata will be considered as an expert person in a car manufacturing company. RBI governor will expert in a forecasting related to the GDP of India. So these people will comment on the demand of a product or the growth of particular sector in upcoming years or in upcoming decades. So what will be the Indian economy in upcoming 10 years or in upcoming one decade? Okay, who will comment about this, or who would like to listen you, or who would like to listen the opinion about this particular statement? Obviously, the RBI governor who is the expert on in that particular field, and the people will take seriously to that statement which is given by the RBI governor. So then the next wave of a corona, third wave of a corona. So for that opinion related to third word, to whom you are going to listen? Okay, so WHO chairman is there. Okay, World Health Organization chairman is there. So the expert or the opinion will come from the, we can say that. So that statement having more weightage in the market. Okay, so like that way, these executive opinion methods are collected, and accordingly the next projection is prepared, or next forecasting is done on that basis of an executive opinion. But we know that whenever such a personal's opinions are taken, or experts' opinions are taken, so in that case, the emotions of that person will be involved in that opinion. Then the biasness of that person will involved in that particular case. For that reason, I have given yesterday, I have given one example related to the India-Pakistan match. Okay, who will win that match? So I am Indian. I will think that India will win this match. So my forecasting is that India will win this match. Whereas the Pakistan person having the forecasting that the Pakistan will win. So the nature will be considered as a biased nature. Now, who is the executive in case of a cricket? Let us say from our country, Sunil Gavaskar, Kapil Dev is the expert. So from the Pakistan, Ramesh Raja is there. Then Rawalpindi Express is there. So these people will make the opinion related to that. Okay, these are the experts. So Ramesh Raja will say that Pakistan will win, and the Gavaskar will say that India will win. So this will matter about the event. Okay, if you are doing some executive opinion, so these opinions are somewhat biased one, and the accuracy will be very less, and there is no scientific methods implemented for doing the forecasting of future in executive opinion method. Okay, there is no scientific or statistics are not used for predicting the future or doing the forecasting method. So that is nothing but executive opinion method. Now, the third type is nothing but customer and distributor survey. So most of the time when you are going to buy some products like car, two-wheelers, or pressure cooker also. So at that time you are getting one guarantee card, and with that guarantee card, one survey that salesperson will provide you one survey. So you are happy that you are getting a guarantee card, 2-year guarantee card, 3-year guarantee card, and with that guarantee card, you have to fill up the opinion about the product. Okay, whether this product, how much useful that product to you, whether it will satisfy your needs, and what extra you want in that product in future if you want to buy this. So that survey will be taken from the buyer. Okay, so that will be considered as a customer survey. Similar kind of a survey will be taken from the distributor side, because the distributor is the company representative in the market, and he knows which products are having the good sell in the market and which products are having the bad sell in the market, and what are the customers requirement related to that product. So these things are known to the distributor, so that the distributor survey will be taken by the company from the distributor end, and the customer surveys are also taken from the customer side by providing the guarantee cards. At that time they are filling out the forms from you, and this survey will be considered for the future forecasting. So that is nothing but customer and distributor surveys. So this is also judgmental technique. Now fourth one is nothing but a marketing trial. Okay, marketing trial is one can say that it will be implemented for the new products. Okay, let us say your company has produced one batch of products. Okay, but the company don't know how much how much there is a demand for that particular product in the market. Okay, so how that company come to know that whether this product is reliable for the customer, whether this product will satisfy the needs of a customer or not. So that will come to know by doing the marketing trials. So for that reason, some area will be considered. Okay, some area or suitable area will be considered, and for the small group of people that product is provided, and the problems related to the product or the quality of a product or the satisfactory level of a product or a reliability of that particular product, this data will be collected by the company, and on that basis the company will forecast the demand of that product in the market. Okay, so that is nothing but marketing trial. Okay, and the fifth one is nothing but a marketing research. Okay, market research means what? This type of a survey is implemented first of all for the products are already launched in the market. Okay, and a similar kind of opinion survey, the research is carried out in the market from the prospective buyers, and this research will be considered for the further requirements of customers. Okay, and the demand of the customers. Most of the times this type of a market surveys are done by the external agencies. Companies will not perform such type of a surveys. For that reason, the external agencies will be hired. Okay, so who is going to win this election? So who is going to predict this? Not the party people. For that reason, the Aaj channel will perform the task, or Z Media will perform the task of a research or survey, and they are come to suitable conclusion. Okay, so market research. Okay, like that market research will be carried out related to the product. Which toothpaste you are going to purchase? Okay, some will say I will purchase the Colgate. Some will say I will purchase the Pepsodent toothpaste or anything else. Okay, so like that way, the surveys or research is carried out, and this research will be provided to the company, and the demand of product will be forecasted on that research basis. Okay, so that is nothing but a market research. Okay, and the last technique is nothing but a Delphi technique. Now this is also an important technique. Now this technique, for this technique, we can say that this is not a subjective technique. This is a qualitative technique. Okay, this is not a subjective technique. This is a qualitative technique. Why this technique will be considered as a qualitative technique? That is also important, because in this technique the set of panels are formed. Okay, set of expert panels are formed. Okay, and questionnaire is provided to that particular panel. Okay, and these questions are prepared on the basis of product quality, product reliability, and product performance. Okay, and what is their opinion? What is the opinion of that particular expert panel is taken from for that particular questions, and that expert panel need to provide the justified answer for the opinion. Okay, justified answer for the opinion. Okay, in this manner, all expert panel, let us say 5 people are there, 6 people are there. Now the biasness of the answer will get reduced in expert panel, because we are not depending upon a single person. Okay, we are depending upon a 5 person or on a panel. Okay, and the separate opinion is taken from that particular panel, and that opinion will be collected, and the iteration will be prepared related to that opinion. Okay, so which things are good, which things are wrong one in the product, and what is the scope for the improvement in that particular product. So these questions will provide the answers for the opinions. And after getting the after getting the proper collection of answers from the expert panel, once again the questionnaires are prepared on that particular answers, and this questionnaires will be provided to the next panel. Okay, in this manner the suitable conclusion will at the end, all the panelists will come reach to the suitable conclusion. Okay, or we can say that consciousness. Okay, so that is nothing but एकमतावर ते शेवटी पोचतात. So that is nothing but conscious. Okay, so suitable conclusion will be carried out, and the improvement, quality checks, and the performance checks related problems, and the scope for the improvement will be come out from that particular questionnaires, and that will be considered for the forecasting. Okay, that will be considered for the forecasting, further future demand of that particular product, and the product diversification in future. That things will be considered for the Delphi techniques. Okay, so that we can say that as we know that there is no dependency on a single person. We are depending on a number of person for the conclusion purpose. So the biasness of a judgment will be reduced in Delphi technique. Okay, biasness of judgment will get reduced in Delphi technique. Okay, so to make the judgmental forecast more realistic by minimizing bias, this method is used. Okay, in this method, a panel of experts are asked sequential questions in which the response to one questionnaire is used to produce next questionnaire. The information available to some experts are made available to other experts. This technique is an iterative process. The Delphi method is an qualitative forecasting method in which opinions are collected from experts to arrive at a reliable conclusion, or consensus. Okay, getting everyone? Is there any question, any doubt in this judgmental technique? So write down the classification of forecasting methods. Classification of forecasting method. Classification of forecasting method. Classification of forecasting method. In that you can write in general. Yes, Digvijay sir, is there any problem? In general, forecasting methods are classified. Forecasting methods are classified as first one, judgmental techniques. Judgmental techniques. Judgmental techniques. Judgmental techniques. In that, write down relies on the art of human judgment. Relies on the art of human judgment. Relies on art of human judgment. relies on the art of human judgment. Second one, time series method. Time series method. Second one, time series method. In that you can write identifies the historical pattern, identifies the historical pattern of demand for the product and project. Identifies the historical pattern of demand for the product and project. Third one, causal methods. Causal methods. Causal methods. That write down. Analyst tries to establish. Analyst tries to establish analyst tries to establish cause and effect relationship. Analyst tries to establish cause and effect relationships. Okay. So next, write down the heading judgmental techniques. Judgmental techniques. Judgmental techniques. First point is that these are commonly used techniques. These are commonly used techniques in business and industries. These are commonly used techniques in business and industries. Second point, this is a subjective method. This is a subjective method where there is a heavy reliance on. This is a subjective method where there is a heavy reliance on the past experience of the person, the past experience of the person and skill. The past experience of the person and skill. One by one, we will see these techniques. First one is opinion survey method. Okay, write down the heading opinion survey method. Opinion survey method. So in that, write down the first point. Opinion method is relatively simple. Opinion method is relatively simple. Relatively simple and practicable method for forecasting. Opinion method is relatively simple and practicable method for forecasting demand for the new products. Demand for the new products. Demand for the new products. In this method, we can write down next point. In this method, comma, opinions are collected from the prospective buyers. In this method, opinions are collected from the prospective buyers regarding, comma, why they buy a particular product. Why they buy a particular product, comma, what they expect from the product, what they expect from the product, what they expect from the product, Next point, the sampling technique is used to survey the customers. The sampling technique is used to survey the customer. And the last one, from the representative sample, from the representative sample, from the representative sample, from the representative sample, it is possible to forecast, it is possible to forecast, it is possible to forecast, it is possible to forecast how the targeted population, how the targeted population respond to the product, how the targeted population respond to the product. Okay, so this is about the opinion survey. Second one is executive opinion method. Second one is executive opinion method. Executive opinion method. In that, write down executive opinion method. In that, write down. In this method, the expert opinion, in this method, the expert opinion is sought on the future demand. In this method, the expert opinion is sought on the future demand for the product. For the product. This method is biased. Biased. It is biased and subjective. And subjective. It is biased and subjective, as it is not backed by any scientific method. It is biased and subjective, as it is not backed by any scientific method or statistical data. Or statistical data. Full stop. The accuracy of, next point, the accuracy of the predicted demand, the accuracy of the predicted demand, the accuracy of the predicted demand depends upon the skill, depends upon the skill, comma, expertise and experience of the person making the forecast. The accuracy of the predicted demand depends upon the skill, comma, expertise and experience of the person making the forecast. Making the forecast. This method is used. This method is used for demand forecasting. For demand forecasting of established products. Of established products. Of established products. Okay. Third one, customer and distributor surveys. Customer and distributor surveys. Customer and distributor surveys. Customer and distributor surveys. In that you can write the individuals who have bought the product, the individuals who have bought the product can be asked the reasons, for making the purchase, The questionnaires can be given along with the guarantee cards. The questionnaires are given, or the questionnaires can be given along with the guarantee cards. Next point, estimate of expected sales, in bracket distributor surveys, estimate of expected sales in bracket distributor surveys can be requested from the retail outlets, and company's sales force, and many companies heavily rely on the judgments made by their sales force. Many companies heavily rely on judgments made by their sales personnel. Over. This is about the customer and distributor surveys. Fourth one is marketing trials. Marketing trials. In that you can write, this method specially applicable to new products. When we are using this trial, if the product is entirely new to the customer or market. Then it is very difficult to know. The acceptability of the product. By the market. Next point. In this case, it is advisable to expose the product to the limited market trial. In this case, it is advisable to expose the product to the limited market trial. Next point, such trial is like a controlled experiment. In which the market area and the method of presentation are carefully selected and controlled. but it will be very costly for the company. Its cost is very high because sometimes we need to provide the trial products free of cost to the customer. Okay. That cost will become very much high for the company. Okay. This method is normally recommended for consumables like cosmetic, toothpaste, etc. This method is normally recommended for the consumables like cosmetics, toothpaste, etc. Then fifth one is market research. Market research. Okay, this method can be used for new products. This method can be used for new products or existing products. Usually work is assigned to the external marketing agencies. Usually work is assigned to external marketing agencies. This is recommended. If extensive data is needed. If extensive data is needed. If extensive data is needed. Next point, the purpose of research. The purpose of research is to gather information. Regarding the nature of consumption. Regarding the nature of consumptions. The details of various factors. The details of various factors which influence the demand, like location, comma buyer occupation, comma price quantity, prices, comma quantity, quality, comma customer income are collected and factors are related to get the forecast. Okay, this is about the market research. Next one is the Delphi technique. One minute. Okay. Write down the Delphi technique. Delphi technique. Sixth one is the Delphi technique. In that, write down to make the judgmental forecast. To make the judgmental forecast more realistic. More realistic. To make the judgmental forecast more realistic by minimizing bias. By minimizing bias. This method is used. This method is used. In this method, this method is used. Next point. In this method, a panel of experts. In this method, a panel of experts. Panel of experts are asked sequential questions. Panel of experts are asked sequential questions. Are asked sequential questions in which the response to one questionnaire is used to produce next questionnaires. पता वेल केला का एकदा चेक करतो मिळाला is used to produce next questionnaire. Full stop. Next point. The information available to some experts. The information available to some experts are made available to other experts. This technique is an iterative process. This technique is an iterative process. Iterative means what? We are closing towards the, in iteration, we are closing towards the answer. Okay. Step by step, we are trying to close towards the answer in each step. Okay. So that is nothing but iteration. In mathematics also, we are doing the same thing. In iterative methods, we are trying to close to the final answer in step by step process. Okay. So that is nothing but iteration. Next point, the Delphi method is a qualitative forecasting method. Delphi method is a qualitative forecasting method in which opinions are collected. In which opinions are collected from experts to arrive at a reliable consensus. Consensus means ekmat. To arrive at a reliable consensus or conclusion. You can say conclusion also, no issue. Okay. So these 6 methods we have learned today in a judgmental techniques. If you have any doubt, any question, you can ask, or else you just put up your roll numbers in the chat box. I declare that the lecture is, you can join the next lecture. Already 2 p.m. So as early as possible, you can put up your roll numbers in the chat box. I suggest everyone, because your roll numbers will not be recorded if the meeting will close. So just put up your roll numbers as early as possible and you leave the meeting.